allegations that there has been payment being made to legislators to vote, for or against what the president announced, the state of emergency and suspension of Fubara. But these allegations have come up before. I remember I spoke to Wabara, who's the former Senate president, and he said that even in the Senate during the third term era, that there were allegations of vote buying. Is this unusual for the Nigeria's National Assembly, or is this how things go?
Well, it all depends on the leadership of the particular time, of the National Assembly. Of course, during Wabara's time, we had allegations of bribery, and lots of money was brought on the floor of the National Assembly, by members to say, look, this is the money they brought to us, to buy us. But it's not the case with the current National Assembly. There have been allegations of corruption and vote buying by the executive on almost every aspect of the National Assembly. Yeah.
And so if we're going forward in Nigeria, how do you think that we can make democracy more entrenched? Particularly, because I know you were very close to Shehu Musari, and he's seen as one of the strongest proponents for democracy in Nigeria. He died fighting for democracy in Nigeria. Does the state of affairs make you mourn those you have lost to this fight?
No, I will not say I have lost this fight, maybe until I cannot fight anymore.
And you're going to keep fighting?
Yes. For democracy, definitely yes.
And do you think that there is hope for Nigeria?
There is hope. There is hope.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
So I agree with him on this. There's yet hope for Nigeria. As long as you and I can speak up, there's hope. I know it feels like we've been captured, but there's hope. So this is Atiku answering questions with regards to and giving bombshell as to what we already know about the corruption of this current Senate, our current National Assembly, headed by Godswill Akpabio. The Senate leadership, the House of Rep leadership has been alleged that they're corrupt. But before I go on and break, and I want to rant, so I would say follow me through to the end of this video, okay? But if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're one of those who have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, and then put your comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about what Atiku said. Do you even agree with him? Obviously, because he himself has been alleged to have been corrupt as well. So put your comment in the comment section. We'll reply it and let other people join in the dialogue. Like I said, I want to just rant. I want to rant about this corruption that is so pervasive in our society. I want to rant about these corrupt entities who have become our leaders. I want to rant about these people who have taken a hold of our nation and ran it aground. All right? These people who had the opportunity to make our country really great. But you know what they did? They siphoned the resources of our nation and took them to other countries to go and develop those other countries. And they still want to come back and then still continue to rule us and embed and put us more in more poverty. So that's what I want to talk about today. First of all, we know for certain that this allegation that came up during the Fubara state of emergency, we all realize and we all know at that time that it was alleged that there was bribery. But Atiku is now also making it even more visible to the blind that at this particular point, that almost everything that they passed that had to do with the executive, they paid for those, they bought those votes. It means that Tinubu's government bribed Akpabio's Senate and the Speaker's House of Rep to get most of all the things they've gotten passed. One of those was what they did with the IG of police when they wanted to extend his tenure. They rushed through it. Fubara's case, they rushed through it. They didn't even go through the proper process. They just said yes with their mouth. Nobody put the normal processes will have tutored. Put your hands on so you can register. They didn't do that. They just said the year have it, and that's it. What the Akpabio-led Senate has done to Nigeria, by the time they're done, there will be no precedence. Mark my word. And that's why we must not keep quiet. We can't leave it in the hands of the Atikus and the Akpabios. Their time have passed. They've come and they've gone. They're passing their time. and they destroyed the nation. It's now up to us young people to now start calling these corrupt individuals out and making sure we have the right set of people going into 2027 election. People with the right mindsets for service, who can go in and have the desire to want to do something. Now, you might want to argue and say Natasha Akpoti, if I want to use as an example, it's because of the report of our people saying that she's been doing some good works at a place in her constituency. So let's take that as an example. You have people who can do some sense of good work and start to develop their constituency. You can see that it will be spreading across like that, and Nigeria will start to grow. Now, whether or not you like her, whether or not you think that she's one of the elites, really, of course she is one of them, but she's doing some work. So we want people with service, not corrupt individuals, not people who have been tainted with corruption, who cannot speak up against corruption. Do you understand? That's why this corruption is actually not just about the money alone. It's about everything. When you have an argument with somebody who is rich, the person calls the police for you and they lock you up in the police cell. Something that would have been a civil case where you and I can go to court. But because you're more wealthier than I am, you call the police locks me up until I apologize to you. Do you see how people get lost in our judicial and our law enforcement system, our criminal process as well? This is what this corruption is all about. Somebody will just wake up and say, I will arrest you with the police, and then the person goes ahead to do that and nullifying everything about your right as a citizen of the nation. You cannot afford to keep quiet. If you do, it will come for you. Ask Natasha Akpoti. Did she not know all along that there have been allegations of Akpabio being corrupt or being a serial abuser, just like Atiku mentioned? I didn't say that. Atiku said that. It's been reported that Akpabio was an abuser of women. Atiku said that. But then they were friends all along until that corruption came for. You cannot afford to keep quiet. You and I travel the road all the time. We see the police on our state roads, on our federal roads. We see how they harass people for 10, 20 naira, 100 naira, 500 naira, 1,000 naira, regardless of how much you can give them. You see that because they have to take care of their family because they're not paid. And even when they are paid, they're not paid up to work because somebody on top who could have used that money to increase their salary siphoned it. And they have to take their own children to school too. Do you think that the policeman on the road does not want to take his child to a private school? You think you are the only ones who deserve to be in a private school, your children? No. It's just because they cannot afford it and they cannot go to work and come back and can't feed their children. So they are forced to get on the road and extort money from you and I. That's what this corruption does. They are forced to take money from you and I to put in their car, in their vehicle to buy fuel so they can parade our street and protect us. Because our government have stolen the money that they would have used and the budget that they would have used to fuel the car every single day and do their police patrol service. That's what this corruption is all about. That's why we're fighting it. Because if we can deal with it in every strata of our society, we will be better off. I'm telling you, in our judiciary is one of the biggest enablers of this corruption because they've collected it. They cannot render any other judgment that is otherwise good. If I'm saying I'm lying, ask former Senator Bukka Chua. He said it on the Senate floor. This man talked about how he coerces his wife to render judgment for his friends. A sitting judge at the time, and at the head of the appeals court at that time, this man on the floor of the Senate talked about how he induces his wife, and she allows it. So I'm telling you right now, until we come out for all these people and make it uncomfortable for them to continue to render judgment, somersault kind of judgment that doesn't make any sense, until we start to do that, we're not going to move on past where we are right now. This 30-day challenge that we're currently doing, they're waiting for us to be done with it so they can carry on. The only effective thing this is doing at the moment is making sure that the world can see that Tinubu is actually a very terrible president. And because we're calling out all these people in the areas of leadership, the likes of Wiki, how terrible he is, Akpabio and the likes, how corrupt they are, it makes it, in the face of the world, they can see that these people are corrupt people. Even though they know, but now the people are calling, so it makes them uncomfortable. This is just the benefit of it. But we have to do beyond that. We have to start making sure we're sensitizing our people until before 2027, so that when we get to 2027, we'll have done a very good work. So we can protect the ballot boxes and stop those thugs from being used to rig elections. See what they did just yesterday or the day before with Natasha Akpoti. Some person who works for the Kogi state government went into the room and, forged people's signature to go to INEC boldly. See how impunity works. They've done it so much so that they have no fear to forge other people's signature or lie to them and take their signature to INEC and say, we want to recall a sitting senator. If there was a recourse, if there was consequences to those kinds of action, that lady and the people who went with her and supported her and doing those things should be in jail. This is what corruption does to a society. It embodies corrupt people until you fight them. And this is why I'm talking about this whole thing. We need to start calling them out. Don't keep quiet. So I'm just ranting, okay? So I need you to rant in the comment section as well. So go to the comment section, rant as well. Let us know what you think. But in the meantime, like, share, and subscribe. If you're meeting this for the first time, do the same thing. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you're just joining us and you're just coming in and you've been following us for a while, rather, and you've not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. We must change our country. Nigeria is home to all of us. We cannot be second-class citizens abroad and be second-class citizens at home. For all of you in diaspora, it cannot be the same thing. You have to be the best at home and be the best outside. So that when you go outside and everyone see you from Nigeria, they give you the respect accorded to you. We're so blessed to be poor. Now we become so poor because of the corruption of our politicians, and we have to make sure that we fight it. It's our time. And I'm telling more Nigerians, wake up. As always, thank you for listening and thank you for also subscribing as well. I look forward to getting your comment and I will respond to it as soon as I possibly can. For the meantime, I want to say thank you and God bless you. Bye-bye for now.